In this video, I'm going to produce some voluntary or pretend blocks in order to demonstrate how to practice the jump when reading aloud. To do this, I've selected a page from Bram Stoker's novel Dracula. I've highlighted a selection of words on that page, and I'm going to pretend to block on each of those highlighted words. For the first half, I'm going to exaggerate the whole process a bit. So when I block, I'm also going to pretend to try to push through those blocks a little bit before I stop myself, let go, and then jump onto the next sound. And then for the second half, I'll demonstrate a more ideal approach to using the blocks, in which I stop myself as soon as I notice myself blocking and before any pushing starts to occur. Okay, so let's go. Third of May, Bistritz. Left Munich at 8:35 p.m. on the 1st of May, arriving at Vienna early next morning. Should have arrived at 6:46, but the train was an hour late. Budapest seems a wonderful place from the glimpse of it that I got from the train and the little I could walk through the streets. I feared to go very far from the station, as we had arrived late and would start as near the correct time as possible. The impression I had was that when we were leaving the west and entering the east, the most western of splendid bridges over the Danube, which is here of noble width and depth, took us among the traditions of Turkish rule. We left in pretty good time and came after nightfall to Lausenburg. Here, I stopped for the night at the Hotel Royal. I had for dinner, or rather supper, a chicken done up some way with red pepper, which was very good, but thirsty. Memo, get recipe for Mina. I asked the waiter, and he said it was called paprika hendel, and that it was a national dish. I should be able to get it anywhere along the Carpathians. I found my smattering of German very useful here. Indeed, I don't know how I should have been able to get on without it. Having had some time at my disposal when in London, I'd visited the British Museum and made search among the books and maps in the library regarding Transylvania. It had struck me that some foreknowledge of the country could hardly fail to have some importance in dealing with the nobleman of that country. I find that the district he named is in the extreme east of the country, just on the borders of 3 states, Transylvania, Moldavia and Bukovina, in the midst of the Carpathian Mountains, one of the wildest and least known portions of Europe. Okay, now for the second half of this page, I'm going to do a more ideal form of the jump, in which I stop myself as soon as I've noticed myself producing a block, and I jump immediately. I was not able to light on any map or work giving the exact locality of Castle Dracula, as there are no maps of this country as yet to compare with our own Ordnance Survey maps. But I found that Bistritz, the post town named by Count Dracula, is a fairly well-known place. I shall enter here some of my notes, as they may refresh my memory when I talk over my travels with Mina. In the population of Transylvania, there are 4 distinct nationalities: Saxons in the south, and mixed with them the Wallachs, who are descendants of the Asians, Magyars in the west, and Slavs in the east and north. I'm going amongst the latter, who claim to be descended from Attila and the Huns. This may be so, for when the Magyars conquered the country in the 11th century, they found the Huns settled in it. I read that every known superstition in the world is gathered in the horseshoe of the Carpathians, as if it was the centre of some sort of imaginative whirlpool. If so, my stay may be very interesting. Memo: I must ask the Count all about them. I did not sleep well, though my bed was comfortable enough, for I had all sorts of queer dreams. There was a dog howling all night under my window, which may have had something to do with it, or it may have been the paprika, for I had to drink up all the water in my carafe, and I was still thirsty. Towards morning, I slept, and was awakened by the continuous knocking at my door. So I guess I must have been sleeping soundly then. I had for breakfast more paprika and a sort of porridge of maize flour, which they said was mamaliga, and eggplant stuffed with horse meat, a very excellent dish which they call impletata. Memo: get recipe for this also. I had to hurry breakfast, for the train started a little before 8, or rather it ought to have done so, for after rushing to the station for 7:30, I had to sit in the carriage for more than an hour before we began to move.